Hi there, you're watching Updates at Noon with me, Renee Fong. And on our top stories today, the wait for Malaysia's 10th Premier continues. Car bomb kills one, hurts nearly 30 in southern Thailand. More than 48 hours after the conclusion of the 15th general election GE15, which ended with no party getting a simple majority to form the federal government, all eyes are now on Istana Negara as the people await the announcement of the new Prime Minister of Malaysia. The GE15 ended in a hung parliament that saw political blocs Pakatan Harapan (PH) and Perikatan Nasional (PN), which managed to secure the most parliamentary seats, reach an impasse, preventing the formation of a government that has a simple majority of 112 seats. In an effort to break the stalemate, PH and PN, with 82 and 73 seats respectively, claimed to have the numbers and support of independent parliamentarians to establish a federal government. Both blocs carried out a series of negotiations to persuade other parties to support their premier candidates, which have not been successful so far. This has led to various formulas being put together for PH to work with Barisan Nasional (BN) or PN with BN, Gabungan Parti Sarawak (GPS) and Gabungan Rakyat Sabah (GRS), as well as proposals for PH and PN to join forces, thus becoming a strong government with a majority of more than 2/3, among other things. BN, which managed to secure 30 seats and is being persuaded by both blocs, decided during yesterday's Supreme Council meeting not to support any coalition to form the federal government. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, meanwhile, is seen to be treading carefully in finding the best solution for the current situation. His Majesty has also urged the people to remain calm and patient while waiting for the formation of a new government. The Royal Malaysia Police (PDRM) have set up 24 hours roadblocks at strategic locations nationwide since yesterday as part of efforts to establish police omnipresence to ensure public order and safety. However, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Akral Sani Abdullah Sani said no roadblocks would be conducted during peak hours or daytime to avoid traffic inconvenience. In a statement this morning, he called on public to give their cooperation in obeying instructions provided at any checkpoints. He also sought to assure the public, stressing that daily activities will not be interrupted and that security is under control. Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Amiruddin Shari said the 2023 Selangor budget will focus on strategies to deal with the wave of economic recession that is expected to occur next year. He said the Selangor Legislative Assembly session starts today and the 2023 state budget will be presented on 25th November, which also emphasised aspects that can benefit the youth, women and economic activities. Commenting further on the matter, Datuk Sri Amiruddin said there are several incentives that they will focus on, much so for young people and women, whilst it is important to institute certain policies so that the economic slowdown or uncertainty can be overcome by the state, which is the pulse of the country. He also noted that it is certain that they will face the challenge head-on next year so that the state of Selangor not only can withstand the test but also be able to turn the tide. He added that the unstinting focus is due to the challenging economic situation expected next year due to the supply crisis of goods as well as geopolitical imbalance, in addition to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and Movement Control Order (MCO). The combination of two political figures who were former Perak Menteri Besar can smooth the administration of the newly formed state government, as well as advance the state's economy for the benefit of the people. Lecturer in the Department of History, Faculty of Human Sciences, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris UPSI, Professor Dr. Ishak Saad said the people now want to see the impact of the combined government of Pakatan Harapan PH and Barisan Nasional BN in governing the state. He said the chemistry of Datuk Sri Sarani Mohamad, who was sworn in as the new Perak Menteri Besar for a new term, and former Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Muhammad Nizar Jamaluddin, who was sworn in yesterday as a member of the State Executive Council EXCO, will prosper Perak and will meet the expectations of the people. The professor further emphasised that the leadership that has been appointed must provide the best governance and excellent leadership without playing up any party sentiment by prioritising the interests of the state. Datuk Sri Nizar, who is also the Sungai Rapat Assemblyman, who was among the 10 Assemblymen who took the oath of office as an EXCO member before the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, at Istana Iskandaria yesterday. The 10 EXCO members are their BN Assemblymen from UMNO, while PH is represented by 4 from DAP, 2 from PKR and 1 from Amanah. The Perak State Assembly now consists of 26 Perikatan Nasional Assemblymen, 24 PH Assemblymen and 9 BN Assemblymen. The newly minted Perlis Menteri Besar Muhammad Shukri Ramli says the position is a responsibility entrusted by the people to him. Therefore, it needs to be carried out properly. The Perlis Perikatan Nasional chairman said he and his peers that were elected by the people in the 15th general election GE15 would work hard to implement the PN manifesto of building a clean and stable government to give rise to a new Perlis. Elaborating further, Muhammad Shukri said changes, especially in terms of economic and human resource development as promised in the PN manifesto, will be implemented in stages as it can't be done drastically. Yesterday, Muhammad Shukri was sworn in as the new Menteri Besar before Raja of Perlis Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Putra Jamalulail at the swearing-in ceremony held at the Green Room in Istana Arau. Muhammad Shukri, 61, who is more popularly known as Cikgu Shukri, expressed his gratitude to the Perlis people for giving their mandate to PN in the polls. The state past commissioner who joined the party in 1990 also said that he hopes the people could give some time to the new state government to bring about changes. He noted that he would fully utilise his experience as the 3-term assemblyman for the Sanglang state constituency and as a teacher for 28 years to help him carry out his new responsibility. PN managed to form the state government after winning 14 out of the 15 state legislative assembly seats, in addition to securing 3 parliamentary seats, namely Padang Besar, Arau and Kangar in GE15. AirAsia X AAX recorded a net profit of 25.09 million ringgit and revenue of 100.1 million ringgit for the 5th quarter ended 30th September this year, or Q5 2022, on the back of post-pandemic economic recovery. Due to a change in its financial reporting period, there were no comparable figures for the preceding year's corresponding period. AirAsia X Malaysia Chief Executive Officer Benyamin Ismail said AAX is now well on track in its recovery path, even as the airline is compelled to operate in a challenging operational environment dictated by high fuel prices and a weakened Malaysian ringgit against the US dollar. While the company is cautious of the strenuous operating conditions, they remain confident that the recovery of the company is on the horizon, if not already within their reach. On 18th August this year, AAX announced a change in its financial year end to 31st December 2022, hence covering a period of 18 months. The mid-range affiliate airline of AirAsia Aviation Group also said its cash position more than tripled to 79.5 million ringgit. The company also carried a total of 80,385 passengers during the period under review, compared to 8,000 1,892 passengers during the period from April 2022 until June 2022. Its seat capacity grew to 110,615 during the quarter from 27,521 in the preceding quarter, as additional markets and frequencies were introduced in Q5 2022. Currently, AAX operates a fleet of 6 A330s from a fleet of 9 A330 aircraft, with 2 A330 aircraft returned during the quarter under review. The airline expects to increase its operating fleet to 13 A330 aircraft by the first half of 2023. On the foreign front, Erdogan vows ground operation into Syria soon. Stay tuned. At least one person was killed when a car bomb exploded inside a police compound in southern Thailand yesterday. At least 29 people were treated in hospital for wounds, among them police officers and civilians. The police said perpetrator dressed as a police officer parked the car filled with explosives inside the compound prior to the blast. Local television footage showed black smoke billowing from the low-rise compound and paramedics removing a body in a body bag. No one has yet claimed responsibility for the incident. Provinces in southern Thailand along the border with Malaysia have seen a decades-long low-level insurgency in which the Thai government has battled shadowy groups seeking independence for the predominantly Muslim provinces of Pattani, Yala, Narathiwat and parts of Songkhla. China could land 3 astronauts on the moon before 2030 as the country's ambitious space program continues to aim high, a chief designer of China's Long March rockets said. Speaking during this year's China Space Conference in Haikou City of South China's Hainan province, Long Lihao said that China has made great progress in developing a new generation of heavy-lift carrier rockets and an ambitious new rocket for manned missions as its space program reaches new heights. The new manned rocket is expected to have a similar diameter in its body compared with the Long March 5, the country's largest carrier rocket, which Long helped design. Advanced technologies have also been applied in the construction of the new rocket in order to complete the manned moon landing mission, added Long. He said the launch vehicle has a near-Earth orbit capacity of about 70 tons and an Earth-Moon transfer orbit capacity of about 27 tons. Long noted that they may launch the rocket in 2 missions and could land 3 Chinese astronauts on the moon before 2030. In addition to the manned rocket, Long said a new heavy-lift rocket with greater carrying capacities is also under development. With a 10-meter diameter and a height of more than 110 meters, it is capable of sending a payload of 150 tons into low orbit and is built to carry up to 50 tons to an Earth-Moon transfer orbit. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan vowed that Turkey would soon unleash a ground operation into Syria against Kurdish targets in defiance of mounting international pressure. Ankara launched a series of airstrikes in Operation Claw Sword on Sunday, hitting dozens of Kurdish targets across Iraq and Syria and announcing that its military was once again on top of the terrorists. The air raids followed a bombing in Istanbul that killed 6 people and wounded 81. Turkey blamed the attack on the Kurdistan Workers' Party PKK, which is blacklisted as a terror group by the European Union and the United States. The Turkish leader has threatened a new military operation into northern Syria since May and upped those threats in the wake of this month's attack. The PKK, which has waged an insurgency against the Turkish states since 1984, denied any role in the November 13th bombing, the deadliest in 5 years after a spate of attacks in Turkey between 2015 and 2017. Erdogan has repeatedly called for a 30-kilometer safe zone to protect Turkey against cross-border attacks from Syrian territory. At least 3 people, including a child, were killed in a Turkish border town on Monday by a rocket fired from Syria. Another Skinner, a Turkey expert and a political risk consultant, told AFP conditions are in place for a particularly robust campaign against Kurdish fighters ahead of Turkish presidential and parliamentary elections in June. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo warned that terrorist groups represent a southward drift of the menace from the Sahel to coastal West Africa as they sought new operation grounds. West African leaders and European ministers are in Ghana's capital, Accra, to discuss regional solutions to the insurgency that is spreading as foreign troops pull out of Mali, where militants have seized vast swaths of territory. Mali, where West Africa's insurgency took root in 2012, has been at odds with regional governments, Western powers, and a United Nations peacekeeping mission since a military government that seized power in an August 2020 coup failed to hold promised elections. There are concerns military withdrawals from Mali will create a security vacuum in an area where groups linked to Al-Qaeda have already branched into Mali's neighbors and moved into coastal states south of the Sahel. Attacks have increased over the past decade despite efforts to fight insurgents. The violence has killed thousands of people and displaced more than 2.7 million across the Sahel, according to the UN. Coastal states such as Benin and Togo have meanwhile seen rising attacks in recent years, prompting discussions about Western help to stem the insurgency's southward spread. France, Denmark and Ivory Coast are among countries that ended military cooperation with Mali this year over the ruling junta's cooperation with Russian mercenaries. Saudi King Salman has declared a national holiday after the football team's stunning World Cup win over Argentina. The 86-year-old monarch orders Wednesday be a holiday for all employees in the public and private sectors, as well as male and female students at all educational levels. The move comes in the middle of final exams in the Gulf nation, indicating that they will have to be rescheduled. Celebrations erupted throughout the capital Riyadh after the final whistle blew, with fans forming impromptu dance circles and waving the sword-emblazoned national flag from the windows of speeding cars. Al Ekbariya posted pictures of King Salman's son, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, celebrating after watching the game with a group that included Energy Minister Prince Abdul Aziz bin Salman.
خصوصا يعني بقيادة ميسي من أهم لاعبي العالم، ومنتخب الأرجنتين من أهم المرشحين لكأس العالم. يعني هذا فوز كبير جدا ويعطي المنتخب السعودي يعني دافعية لباقي مبارياته القادمة. طبعا هذا كله يعني بسبب التهيئه النفسيه.
ابهرونا اليوم ابطالنا اللاعبين في المباراه، يعني ما كنا نشوف، كانوا يراهنون على ميسي ما شفناه بالمباراه، رغم الا الهدف البلنتي اللي سجله يعني بخطا بسيط من احد اللاعبين، والحمد لله عوضونا بمباراه جدا جميله ومباراه يتشرف فيها السعوديين خاصه والعرب عامه، لانه احنا يعني كنا ممثلين العرب في اول مباراه حاليا في المجموعات، وكانت مباراه جدا رائعه، قدموا اداء جدا جميل.
Turki al-Sheikh and advisor at the royal court and head of the Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority announced on Twitter that admission fees would be waived at major theme parks and entertainment centers in Riyadh. The team's next match is on Saturday against Poland. Up next, Saudi. Saudi Arabia pulled off one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history by beating Lionel Messi's Argentina 2-1, thanks to a scintillating second-half comeback. Argentina arrived in Qatar on a 36-match unbeaten streak and appeared to be on their way to a straightforward victory after Messi stroked home an early penalty. Lionel Scaloni's Copa America Champions League.
No, ya sabíamos cómo jugaba Arabia. De hecho, estuvimos preparando el partido una semana que la línea defensiva estaba adelantada y bueno, fueron algunos milimétricos en lo que tiene la nueva tecnología que hay. Pero más allá de eso lo hacen y lo hacen bien. Bueno, es difícil de asimilar porque en 4 minutos o en 5 minutos se hicieron los 2 goles, creo que fueron los 2 únicos tiros al arco. Pero bueno, no queda otra que levantarse, seguir adelante, hay que ganar los siguientes 2 partidos, no tenemos que analizar más que eso.
In other Group C match, Poland's skipper Robert Lewandowski failed to break his World Cup duck when he saw a second-half penalty saved in a goalless but entertaining draw with Mexico in their opening game at Stadium 974. Headed home and Giroud's tap-in gave them the half-time lead. Kylian Mbappe's glancing Tunisia, Eriksen was denied what would have been a fine goal by Eamon Damin's fingertip save in the 69th minute, post from close range. After surviving a late penalty scare, the North Africans celebrated a precious and unexpected point with their passionate supporters. Portugal forward Cristiano Ronaldo is to leave Manchester United with immediate effect, the Premier League giants announced Tuesday. The decision follows a recent television interview in which the 37-year-old said he felt betrayed by the club and had no respect for new manager Erik ten Hag. Both parties stated that Ronaldo's exit was mutually agreed. Manchester United's statement said the club thanks him for his immense contribution across 2 spells at Old Trafford, scoring 145 goals in 346 appearances, and wishes him and his family well for the future. It said everyone at Manchester United remains focused on continuing the team's progress under Erik ten Hag and working together to deliver success on the pitch, as well as criticizing the Old Trafford hierarchy and Ten Hag. Ronaldo was scathing about the club's US owners. Ronaldo said the Glazer family cared far more about the money-making potential of United than results on the pitch. And that dramatic announcement was eclipsed just hours later by the US-based Glazer family, who have owned United for 17 years, could be on their way out as well. Manchester United's owners said they were ready to sell the club. United said the Glazer family is working with financial advisors on the process, which could lead to a partial sale of the Old Trafford club or investments including stadium and infrastructure redevelopment. The Glazers' reign has been marked by declining on-field performance and repeated fan protests. United have not won the Premier League title since 2013 in Alex Ferguson's final season as manager. 5 managers have come and gone at Old Trafford in the past 9 years without coming close to matching Ferguson's success. Protests against the Glazers have continued to be common on match days at Old Trafford despite huge spending on player transfer fees and wages, including on Ronaldo's homecoming. The Glazers bought the club for £790 million in 2005 in a highly leveraged deal, which has been criticised for loading debt onto the club. United has been listed on the New York Stock Exchange since 2012, when the Glazers sold 10% of their holding via the listing and have sold more shares since. And then wraps up updates at noon today. A quick reminder of our headline: the wait for Malaysia's 10th Premier continues. Now, folks, don't forget to tune in to news at 10 tonight on Saluran Berita RTM for more updates. Till then, I'm Renee Fong. Goodbye and have a pleasant afternoon.